HSSE Conference at the Hyatt Regency.
This wraps up the luncheon edition of news as produced by Triple N for today, Wednesday, November 2nd.
Distant lands, our forefathers came, some seeking adventure, some bound in chains, through battles waged and fought, through victory and pain, by test of their courage.
Program on target. And as usual, as soon as we start this program, you can pick up the telephone and give us a call. We never have a subject matter. We speak about anything: politics, religion, socioeconomic issues, sex, woman. You can just pick up a telephone. The number to call is 4420175. We don't like rules, but we encourage people to respect one another and understand that we have the answers to address all our challenges in Grenada. We must have confidence in ourselves and our people, and we must respect one another. And we can hold discussions. We always encourage family members to sit down and thrash out your problems. Come up with suggestions. Whoever leads the home, remember, you may not have all the answers. And even if you have all the answers, you want the others to work with you. So you must give in a little, compromise a little, be more tactful and appreciative, and let us solve our problems. The black man can solve the problems of the black man. We have to put hate aside and bitterness aside and work together with one another. And I believe in that way, we will be able to achieve much more. We have to stop blaming people for deficiencies. We seem to enjoy that. We're blaming everybody. We're blaming the white man for slavery. We're blaming the Africans for selling us in slavery. Time gone, man. We need to solve our problem. Grenada is well poised in Grenada for takeoff. During the Caribbean, we have electricity, telephone, water, and internet. We're second to none. We're comparable with the best. We're better than most. Grenada have the most land owners in the region and perhaps in the world. We have a lot good going for us. We have one of the best network of roads in Grenada. Our teacher-to-children ratio is better than England, America, and most countries in the world. So we have a lot. We have to stop fighting with one another. Every ministry, every department, every home should serve as a think tank to come up with answers and solutions. If we tear this country asunder, we will not go forward. We'll be eating one another. We will only end up with tails in a barrel. We'll be pulling on one another every time they're ready to climb. We have to work together. We are a small country, 100,000 people. Our population has not risen in the last 100 years. We have great individuals in Grenada, but we're fighting one another down too much. I believe that some of the problems that we have will solve overnight. And when I say overnight, I'm talking about 5 to 10 years, because that is a small time in terms of change, 5 to 10 years. We could solve some of the problems. One of the challenges in Grenada is high unemployment. But we could solve this problem if we just think, if we sit down and think. We don't have to create more problems. The crime rate in Grenada is relatively low in comparison with the rest of the Caribbean. The police in Grenada has been doing an extremely good job. The Ministry of Finance has been doing a very good job in Grenada. Government pharmacists, nobody talk about them. You don't see them, but they are a group of dedicated, hardworking, and committed people. We could solve our problems. Let us not tear this country asunder. Today we have the commemoration of All Souls. The Catholics and other religious organizations, principally Anglican and Methodist, some of the Protestant religion are not involved in that. So they today will be visiting the cemeteries. They will have the commemoration of all the faithful departed. It's an important point. Some people don't believe too much in religion, and the secular world is dominating the situation. But almost all race of people treat the burial ground or the place where they dispose of the people as sacred ground. And today, Catholics and other religions will visit the grave. Over the last couple days or weeks, they will be fixing up the grave. They'll be putting candle on it. They'll be praying. And one of the common prayers they might be saying, because they're praying for those departed. I think sometimes we just condemn things, lump, stock, and barrel without examining it carefully. But we should, because it is helpful for mankind. You see, man is a social being, and most of us are Christians. And as a result of that, we have to have great respect for the elders in the society and those who have gone to the great beyond. So you will see in some churches and some individual praying, Eternal Father, I offer the most precious blood of the divine Son, Jesus, in union with masses said throughout the world today, for all the holy soul in purgatory, for sinners everywhere, for sinners in the universal church, those in my home and within my family. They will be praying for the dead. They'll be praying for the dead in their family. And I think it's a good thing. The Bible says it's a good and wholesome thing to pray for the dead. In addition to that, every time in the Bible that people was raised from the dead didn't go and ask the people to raise them. Those who was living went and asked the disciples to raise them. They appealed to Jesus Christ. Always like the centurion. You say, you just say the word. And his daughter came back to life. And Dorcas, I like Dorcas. A lot of people, she was a seamstress. Some people might not even pay Dorcas for the dress she sewed for them. But she was a good woman. So it's good to pray for the dead. A lot of the young boys are behaving badly in the street, cussing and hooliganism and disrespectful. If you get them to pray for the dead, they might change their attitude. I always recommend parents should bring their sons to visit the sick and to volunteer in homes and do some work. Because when you see these mannish boys and them, they still have no compassion, no respect. And maybe it is because of the way they grew up. They were bad trained. If they go and visit the brothers in the Richmond Hill and they see some old men there with pampers and they have to help change the pampers, that might bring them to the reality what would happen to them in the next coming years. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yeah, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller,
Good
welcome.
afternoon. Mr. Pierre, I was listening to part of a portion of the town hall, and I heard the Prime Minister mention about the faith-based organization that was doing a wonderful job in the schools, sanitizing the children. And he was saying about $6 million was spent with
How much million?
6 million. Right, was spent on that contract for 2 years. I think that the job that they were doing was a wonderful job. They saved a lot of the young school children life. In that way, where they were sanitizing them, they were sanitizing them and make sure that they are safe from not catching the COVID. And even some of the parents that that were at that town hall, when they heard the amount of money, they buy a lot of money. Where the parents were saying they were not that money, he don't see the value for that money. But I would say you cannot put a value on on your child or your children. Your children worth more than $6 million. What they could bring towards the country. And I could say that's faith based. There was discipline. There was discipline.
Prime Minister play job, I want to see waste. Yay, yay, yay. I want to see the Prime Minister whining. So he do it for drama.
Yeah.
And he was speaking to the converted.
Converted.
So they would not ask questions.
They won't ask questions.
So we always remember, ask questions.
What I do believe, sometimes you do a whole breakdown of how much people walk in, right? And how much they're working for. But then you won't give the information. Just go and give the total amount of money.
Well, normally that's what they do. They say $6 million, and you cannot see that. The Prime Minister might have said, you can see that. Well, it is not something tangible. It is practically abstract because it's pay and service. So you will not able to see that.
I don't
So you have to always remember, a story have three sides.
True.
Always remember that. And anytime you're somebody very dramatic, be more meticulous. Yeah? It's John Gall that tell me that. He kind of pessimistic, but in a good partner, I like him. Yeah. Yes, brother. Thank you very much.
Understand you, man.
Yes, thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, it's very important when people making dramatic statements and giving you numbers that you try to analyze the numbers. And remember, a story have three sides. And if the Prime Minister was speaking in a town hall meeting, because at this case now, it's only his members he would speak into. And most of our journalists get photogenic and they parading the certification. So they may not ask the Prime Minister, how many people involved? How many people involved in the program? What is the income? What salary they were paid? You know, I don't know how much people involved. I don't know much about faith-based. So you have to ask questions. If $6 million was spent, and if you say 6 million, and you say 6 million, that's a bigger quantum when you're dealing with it. So if 6 million people was involved, you must know how much workers was involved in the program and how much money they were working for. And you will have to multiply the number of workers by the amount of money to find out what is 1 month pay. And then you have to multiply it by 12 to find out what is 12 months pay. And then you have to multiply it by 2 to find out what is 2 years pay. And if it come out to $2 million, you go say, where did 4 million go? And if it come out to $8 million, you have to give the people 2 million more. And don't speak about disinfectant and transport and supervisors and telephone and office and all them kind of things. So we always have to remember when politicians speak. Remember, at one time they said Mr. Tillman Thomas got $50,000. And then he put it in an account, he forget which account to put it in. And all that is drama. Sometimes he knew which account and he put it in the right account. But it's drama, and politicians like drama. So anytime a politician speak, you must do some analysis. You must do some analysis. Don't expect the supporters of the party to do analysis for you. So before you take it, lob, stock, and barrel. This is why the sister in St. Patrick's will come to me. She says she walking in the road and she boyfriend walking in the road. She from St. Patrick's, he from St. Andrews. And based upon the fact that they go fire them, he say he going in Trinidad. So she tried to convince the boy that he shouldn't go in Trinidad, he should stay here. Because she have 5 children. 3 is not his. 2 is his. But the problem is she's pregnant again. And pregnancy is a good thing. I like to know when women pregnant. Because in Grenada, the population is not rising. So we either bring in people or start to pay our women to get pregnant. It's important. Because if you are a nice, handsome, strong man and you don't want to make children, you risk go dead. And the most amount of family planning is pushed among Black people. And the most amount of death from breast cancer is among Black people. And the most amount of death from prostate cancer is among Black people. You see a pattern. These are the things that affect directly the sex organ. And Black women, they start to have children the latest in all ethnic groups. They study. So if we continue like that, in the next 150 years, the Black man could be a minority. The white man in Europe is already aborting themselves into a minority. So that is very important. So this little sister concern, my heart goes out to her, you know, because she have 5 children. Already she is a queen. But she man want to go in Trinidad. And the lady does stupid. If the man go in Trinidad, those Trinidad women go to take him over. They can say, boy, you got to work hard, so I have to take care of you, because you know we had to buy things for the Christmas. And she will lose she man. So she begging him not to go in Trinidad. This morning I hear she lose she work. They say when they come Friday, the government, they tell them don't come back. So the boy don't lose his yet. But he right now he go and book his flight. Because he said once he lose his job, he going in Trinidad. I know he can't take the talk from them yellow on them. Culture man might give him too much talk. Because you see, he was green, he was a guana, turned on guana. So that is the reality. It is a good thing. I believe the government recall the individuals with the groundsmen, because they say so much of NDC needs to ball out. They realized he had too much NDC in the group that they were fighting, so they pulled them back. You know, this is what is unfortunate in Grenada. There is absolutely no need for the attitude of the present government for victimizing people because of their political inclination. The saddest part of this story is that the people they are victimizing is from the lower bracket, the lower echelon, people who are working for under $2,000. Many people ask, if these people are not in a supervising position, what is the political impact? And secondly, because Deacon stared these people in his eyes with his baby face and tell them none of them would not lose their job, but instead, he's going to make them permanent. And I believe they believe the baby face. You see, if he had beard in his face, then I say it might be an old Roma and he has the ability to lie. But because his face looks as a baby bottom, they believe he cannot lie. And I think that is where they get chaff. And that is unfortunate and it is sad, but that is the reality. I have objected to it in the strongest way I possibly could, because I do not want another government come and do the same thing. If the National Democratic Congress don't abort the trajectory they're going on of incorporating victimization as a modus operandi, when our next government comes, a precedent would be established. And this small country of ours, we go decrete. I have it difficult how some of our people in institutions cannot see that. But maybe again, they believe that the people they are attacking is just ordinary folks, so they don't count. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, sister, welcome.
How are you?
Great, man.
A little bit of news I heard last night, or some town hall with some passport and somebody on the run. Can't even say the word, no? But some office and some NNP office and some guy and some money paying office for passport. You have any idea of that?
Not really, not really. I've not heard, and I don't want to comment on things that I'm not comfortable with.
Okay.
I don't know, you know. Maybe somebody might call and give us some better explanation. Yes.
Okay, then.
Yeah. And I think just to read this brother on Facebook, Onisto, I want you to bring the people on your program. All you've been saying is allegation. My brother, I'm in tongue long. I told you that already. I am in tongue long. These people we're speaking about, I read out about 5 letters on the radio, and I dare and I challenge you or anybody in NDC to prove me wrong. So when I speak and I express my opinion, if I get new information, I change in my opinion. So instead of asking me to bring these people on the program, I would not. In fact, one of the women in particular, she did not even want me to say the village she's from, because she says she has children in school and the teachers might victimize them. I've expressed my concern on that because the government policy today resemble quite a lot what went on in the revolution. Already Onisto, one man lost his job. The principal of the school told him somewhere on the 13th, don't come back. But she called him back, I think, on the 17th or the 18th, and tell him come back. Because she realized maybe she fired him too early. And at the end of the month, she tell him don't come back. Just like that. Just like that, honest. So if you still remember, you said it was only 4 from Carriacou. And I understand you was part of the group that helped put on the list of names to be victimized. So I don't believe you're genuine when you're writing on my post and asking me to bring the people on radio. Maybe you want to see them so you could victimize them more. Honesto, the Ministry of Mobilization send the agents in activities of the NNP to see who are the public officers, the police, and the prison officers that attend in that activity. This is so sad and unfortunate. Honesto, during the revolution, the agriculture officer in the Eastern Division and a couple of other agriculture officers had a meeting to revive the goat society. And honesto, within 24 hours after, they was in jail. They was in jail within 24 hours after. The majority of the people in agriculture got the news on Monday and Tuesday. And it alarmed and paralyzed the whole Ministry of Agriculture, honesto. Then they was released. They got to have a meeting to have a goat society. So when the National Democratic Congress evoked the spirit of Maurice Bishop and introduced the Ministry of Mobilization and Restorative Justice, it's a sad thing in this country. And they're going to use it to intimidate public officers. Honesto, you're going to cause drop in production. You won't get work like that. Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Yes,
Mr.
man.
Pierre. How
Yes,
are you today?
great, man. Good.
Well, they're still doing what they have to do because my son was working with the housing like super when they're doing houses or doing bathroom and thing. And they call him down for his letter Monday. So he went and collect his letter. They don't have no use for him again. So these people and them, and let me tell you, they in every department, every ministry, they have people to point out the NNP, the strong NNP people. Because he said about 2 weeks before, they call him down in the office, and it was in Grenville at Tongue. He didn't tell me where. And while she was there, somebody came there, and I don't remember the time she met the man there. The person met him there, and in talking, the person go say, "What all you do? What NNP do?" And he is one what was head with Miss Pierre. He is one what was be head with Miss Pierre. About 2 weeks ago, Friday gone, they call him and tell him they have a letter for him to come and collect it. When he went Monday, they hand him his letter of dismissal. And they owing him for 2 months. 2 months. When he asked about his pay, his money, they tell him they will put it to the bank, through the bank for him. And the next question I have to ask again about the present Prime Minister. In the revolution time, how old he was?
He had to be about 4 or 5 years.
Right.
If he is 45 now, the revolution collapsed 40 years ago, so 1979, maybe he was 2 or 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how he coming to say he missed Bishop?
You see crying, we miss you, we love you.
What he know about the revolution? What
But
he
you
know
see,
about
sometimes is what he knows about it.
So I find that strange. So that shows what plan these people and them had in the head and perhaps up to now have it in the head. Because if he could cry, he miss you. Don't know nothing about Bishop.
Bishop will miss you. Bishop will love you. Bishop will help us.
I find that strange.
I think that is why the revolution did all its damage in Grenada. You know?
Yes.
Over 3,000 people complained and went to jail. But there was other people in the country who shut them up.
Yes.
So many people in Grenada. I believe the best thing is to disband the Ministry of Mobilization. It is the Ministry of Mischief.
They have it, yes, they have it for a purpose to destabilize. As long as they know you as a strong NP supporters, out.
Yeah.
They're picking you out.
Yes,
but God, let the Lord have his way, let his will be done.
Yeah.
Just stand still and let us pray, and we'll see the salvation of the Lord. God bless you.
That is one of the
yes.
I think that is one of the challenge when we have immature individuals who are bitter and angry, and you don't know what make them so hateful and bitter. And I always say I like politicians who are accustomed with the system, who are involved in groups, who are accustomed networking, so you know them, who are family oriented, so they have their wife, they have children, and you could see some level of success within the family. But sometimes a man has one child, he has 3 women, and he has plenty of money. You don't have much compassion. You don't have much feeling. Some of these, like Tilita's daughter, she won't even go back in the village to help the community. You see, for Tilita want to know the grandchildren, but she feels she has to give Tilita a do-over to know she grandchildren. You had a dentist in Ticola. She won't go back. She's so bright. She can't stand the people in the community. And that is, I think that is one of the problem the National Democratic Congress have. They lack compassion. You notice where hunters will tell you, when you point a gun at a monkey, if you have a child, he's showing you a child for so you to have pity on him. When they line up the people against the wall, Jacqueline Craft touched her belly. They had no compassion. And that is what happened. So we selected a government. They look the people in the eyes and they tell lies to them. They told them, we're going to appoint you, we're going to make you permanent. And now the government set up a whole ministry for political mischief. And you have a young man who is ambitious. The revolution would have called him a patriotic bourgeois because he has some degree of success and he's ambitious. So they decide to use him because he's expendable. Based upon the trend that Dick Mitchell is taking, Andy is expendable. If you go back and read the line of Matt's speech, if you go back and study Maurice Bishop well, you will know Maurice Bishop considered some petty bourgeois. He categorized them. And the patriotic bourgeois, Bishop said you could work with them because they are expendable. Bishop sent children from the proletariats to study a particular area. The intention was these children would come back and run the country. He sent children from the patriotic bourgeois to study a particular area. So they would come back and be the doctors, the engineers, the agricultural experts. but they would not be the politicians. There are some children from the petty bourgeois. Bishop refused to train. He did not give them scholarship. Now, you don't have to believe me. Go back and check the records. So when the minister knows that who is in charge of the Ministry of Mobilization, Implementation, and Restorative Justice would be easily considered based upon the revolution as a patriotic bourgeois, and he would be expendable. They would use him, and he may succeed. If anything go wrong, they will get rid of him. Now, this is why I believe that the trade union in particular, they may be at the crossroad. Maybe they didn't learn enough. They was excited with what was written about the revolution. In a little while, I go tell them about the women they walk on. You see, I want to tell them the history. I have to go and educate these young juveniles in politics. Since you decide to open the Pandora box and adopt Maurice Bishop's spirit, I'll have to give you the history. We intend to let it lie. After you had the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, Grenadians say, let it lie and let's work together. But you decide to open back the Pandora box. So I'll have to provide you with the history for you to understand better, you know? And I think this is important for us because this is another opportunity again, while we have the commemoration of All Souls, that people take some time and educate your children. The people most affected today by this government victimization program are the people in the lower strata. These are the people always affected by political mischief. Now, for the future, you must educate your children. Don't waste time bothering with the history in school. You're lying there too much. Teach your children your history. So now is a good time to start. Tell them about your parents that died. Let them know the names of your grandmother and your mother. See how far you could go back. Let your children know the interesting stories. Let them know the names of the villages. Some of the parishes have very interesting names. You're going to know what Ticola is. As soon as you take time off to explain to your children the names of the villages in the parish, you're going to know what Ticola is. If we do that, yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, sir.
Yes, scholar, welcome.
Well, I want to agree with you, and a lot of people don't want to agree that Maurice Bishop has to get all the blame for the wrong things because he was the head. I could remember in 1973, Maurice Bishop used all the young children, especially McDonald College. McDonald College was a school, a political school, you could call it those days, because every day you hear 3 and 4 buses coming to take the children to town to demonstrate. Gary must go, Gary must go. I was the only student who had stayed back when the whole school gone.
Now you were a strong Gary, right?
And this is one and Simon daughter fight with me. She said, we don't want no Gary Wright in this school. When I get all my face scratch up, all my shirt tear up in school because I say I'm not going in no demonstration. Then the whole school used to go except me because they mobilized. He was using young children in 1973. I have that experience. I go to Sir Eric and I say, Sir Eric, look, I get
licked for not taking part in demonstration with Bishop against you. And look, he gave me police protection. I school in McDonald College with police have to stay by the school by shift to make sure that the children don't fight with me. First, the children was instigated to be against the present government of the day. So a lot of things went wrong. So don't blame Morris. Morris is a good man. He has to be blamed.
You see, a lot of people don't know that, you know.
Just as today, we have a 3 months or a 4 months government. The leader has to be blamed. He is the head of things. I understand he starts saying most of the things he's not aware of. He's not aware of.
That is avoidance.
They say they're rotating gangs. They chose all the gangs. They're not rotation, but they say it's rotation. But he's not aware of. The groundsmen, he said they're not aware of, but I understand to take them back.
Well, yes, they must take back the groundsmen because they had too much of their supporters that was wearing yellow and campaigning for them. I understand one of them said they could have never believed that some of these people was working. The way the people, they said the people were getting on against NNP, they could have never believed they had contract. So that is why they take them back cut blank.
They had no other choice.
Yeah, too much of them. Maybe weed out of the group now, take them back and show out those green people. Yeah, thank you, caller. Thank you, caller. Yes, I think all these, we have to maybe continue speaking about that because it's important. McDonald College was so politicized that they decided they would not say the pledge and the anthem. And Gary reacted by saying any school that refused to say the pledge and the anthem, they would not give them assistance. So McDonald College raised the school fees to $50. I always remember an individual who was going to school with me. They used to call him Baby Moses. Baby Moses was a very intelligent guy, but he had to leave school because his mother was a Gayrite and his father was a GNP. And it appears that he says a Gayrite too, because he was Baby Moses, you know, mommy pet. So the father decided he would not pay for him to go to school, so he left school. He ended up a policeman, and he reached real high up in the police force. Some police might have known Baby Moses. Yes, caller, welcome. Yeah, we lose that caller. These are some of the history that you will not find written. But I think sometime you might hear me talk about the women they put down to lie down on the hot pitch. But we're going to speak about it next time. But it's important in all these things that we put emphasis in educating your children, particularly now where this country is getting. Yes, caller, welcome.
Hello, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, welcome, caller.
Yes, I'm calling from Canada. I'm listening to the program, and the people and them don't want you to talk about NDC. But NDC is a government what make a lot of trouble in Grenada. I don't know why they're attacking you.
They can't stop me. Yeah.
They cannot stop you.
No. I'm tongue too long. I'm tongue too long for that.
Grenada.
No, it can't stop me. I'm tongue too long for that. Yeah. I think a lot of people don't know.
And, what? Yes, and
yeah, you have your radio on.
to tell the people.
Yeah. You have your radio on, so you're getting the feedback.
Oh, that's why.
When you call us, you have to turn off the radio because you're hearing the feedback. So you're waiting to speak. You just have to continue to speak and ignore your radio.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for calling. And, we got to take off your radio. Yeah. When you call us, if you listen to your radio, then you have a delayed broadcast. So rather than speaking, you go be hearing what it says. This thing happened to me. That's all right. We have a caller on the line. Caller, welcome.
Yeah.
Yes, caller.
I think the town hall meeting that you had recently is a prelude to paying the faith-based workers the salary that they so rightly work for. I think it's a prelude to paying them. In other words, look at all that this government do and wasted so much money. I asked the question to somebody, a good friend of mine. They wasted so much money. How come the government is bragging that they got so much money when they went in there? So I think it's a prelude to paying the workers their salary, a means of saving face in the sense that we are able to do it even though, we are able to do it. So that is the shortcut they come in with giving all those figures that they never verified, those figures that they were giving, And I think this is so sad because those of us who doesn't know, who is not able to calculate, will be held again, because what they did with the workers, they told them that, look, the government did this to all you and they did that to all you, that is why all you can get paid, So they told them that their name was not in the system, so they can't get paid. So I said, how come if they work, they should be getting paid? So we gave the teachers, we took for ourselves, we gave the COVID third
tranche.
Yes. So now there's a little bit left apparently. So they're trying to see if they could give the workers without really giving the workers, without submitting to your cry to pay them. I think this is what is happening here. Thank you.
Well, yes, caller, thank you. I always warn people that the people in the lower socio-economic strata, somebody have to speak up for them. A lot of the parents educate their children with the hope that the children is going to help the parents. But when these children get education, these children believe they're in a new social class. Derek Walcott from St. Lucia wrote about it. Yes, caller, welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, caller, welcome.
Lord, could you please tell us what is going on in this little country grenade of ours? Every day somebody's going home. I wonder if these people don't sleep at night for what they are doing. But they should remember there is a God. There is a God in heaven that sees and knows everything. And when you see God work, Mr. Pierre, this people might be worse than Nicodemus, but oh God, I don't know if I forget his name. The man they put to eat the grass on the ground. Well, God is. I'm so hurting about this country. Oh God, help us. Okay.
There's always answers, and I say to people, educate your children. Make certain 70% of the children that exit school cannot pass maths and English. When you say that in grade, everybody vexed with you. But I dare them to challenge me. And I say, if it is 69.5, I'll come back on the radio and apologize most profoundly for my great blunder. But based upon my statistics, 70% of the people cannot pass a minimum of 5 subjects in school, including maths and English. Now, these are the same people that are under attack now. So, the Prime Minister said that 6 million is spent, and he don't know what to do with it. And by the time he punctuates baby face and he nearly cried and he used drama. Everybody inside a balling 6 million. None of the bright, intelligent, smart people, our photogenic journalists, and those that start to parade the certificate, they did not ask him how many people involved. What is it that the people working for? How many people involved? How much money they're working for? And if it's 2 years, that is 24 months. And see how close it reached to 6 million. It might end up 2 million. And they could say, well, 4 million missing. So faith-based people have to give the government 4 million back. And if he end up to 7 million, they go say, well, the government have to give faith-based people 1 million. But the National Democratic Congress now is following what Maurice Bishop did in the revolution. They're making the propaganda in the lab. They're making propaganda. And they're giving it the dramatic effect. And the NNP is still asleep. They don't wake up yet to start to challenge them on it. I think what needs to happen, they should challenge them. I saw some of the individuals roving on social media without people challenging them. And I think this is the answer. Simple. That's the simple answer. The people who are affected most are the people who fall in the low income bracket. They can't fire public officers. Funds. If it was made directly to the government, but half of the money go to NNP, NNP had to pay back the government. But if the check was written by the man straight to the account of the NNP, then they don't have to pay him back, like for party funds. But I guess the Prime Minister said, did the Prime Minister say where they gave him the money? Did the Prime Minister call the name of the man?
No.
Remember, after election, the Prime Minister or his team or those associated with him disclosed all the people who was involved in the foreign mission. And they made their name public. So if the Prime Minister of Grenada is making a public statement like that, then he should put the name of the person. You understand?
Well, you don't want to discriminate, I guess.
No. Caller. The Prime Minister is a lawyer. He's not an idiot. He's a lawyer. So he's doing. So if he put
money, the NAPR to pay back.
You have to ask the Prime Minister.
But the Prime Minister say you have to pay back.
Then ask the Prime Minister. Ask the Prime Minister. Ask the Prime Minister that. Then ask the Prime Minister that.
Okay, Mr. Pierre.
Thank you, brother. Good, yeah. Yeah. The best thing to do is to ask the Prime Minister. I didn't even hear what the Prime Minister is. So the best thing is to ask him. If you say NNP have to pay back the man, then leave this thing for NNP and the man to handle. If you want to represent the man, then he provide legal fees and he gets some money to represent the man. But since this thing is between NNP and the man, leave it between NNP and the man. Yes, yes. So I believe it is a very important thing for people to use every opportunity to further the education of their children. And we can use all saints. We can use the political environment now to recognize that if this victimization is entrenched in Grenada, if we don't get the government to discontinue the process, disband the Ministry of Mobilization, and rescind the letters, then more often, most likely, when a new government come in the next 5, 10, whether 40 years, victimization is going to continue. The best way to deal with it is to make certain your children have quality education. Avoid wasting time with this subject in school that don't make no sense. We have a caller on the line, and that's our last caller. Yes, caller, you are our last caller for the day.
Thank you very much for taking my call. You know, I enjoy your program today again as usual. You know what happening? 39 years going, I can't put a candle on my father, my grandmother, aunts, and these kind of people grave because why? During the revolution, they take my property from me and they sell it to somebody. I never know exactly what's going on. Maybe Tillman Thomas might be able to tell us something better, but anyhow, I won't go down on him too much for that because we suffer in prison together. But on the other hand, 2006 or somewhere, I went to the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and a lot of recommendations was made. And you know something? I already tell you, over $100,000 I put a claim for my property and my damages and whatnot, etc. And NNP give me $4,000 and they tell me, take that and cool it. Bye-bye.
Yes, scholar, thank you very much. I'm meeting a lot of people that didn't get any money. They say the Americans give a lot of money. And a lot of the Rastafarians that Bishop had in the Copen, they don't get no money. A lot of men, when they hear they was getting money, they send some of them to the lawyers then, who was involved and who was in jail with them. And they felt let down because they thought that these educated men who was in jail with them, some of them lawyers, would have seek their interest. But a lot of them don't get no money. Some of them, when they come out from jail, they jump the boat. How the American freedom, they jump the boat and make out of the island as fast as they could because they're afraid they jail them again. So a lot of Grenadians suffered in the revolution. A lot of women suffered. One of these days, I'm going to tell you about those women they put on the hot pitch. I'm going to tell you about them. Those women from Ticolor, they work on. I'm going to tell you about them one of these days. But we're very happy to come to another. We come to the end of the program. We always provoke discussion on this. We express our opinion. If we get new information, we change in our opinion. But we want discussion. We could sit down and discuss issues. We could speak about the revolution. We could speak about NDC, NNP. We don't have to turn enemies. We could speak about them in a rum shop and still take a drink. We could differ, but we don't have to go after one another's truth. It is wrong for somebody to lose their job simply because of politics. Particularly the people that is not that competitive on the job market, so it's difficult to get a job. You think it's easy for somebody working 5 to 17 years? The union say 18, but based upon the information I have, it's 17. 5 to 17 years working with government, and they get a letter where you throw them out. And the last day of their work was the first day for the replacer. You practically wanted them to go out of the job in tears. These tears have to fall somewhere. We're back with you again tomorrow between 12 and 1 for another opportunity to punch.
Voices